We're continuing to hold the candidates for governor accountable following WKYT's Kentucky debate.
This week, WKYT's Garrett Weimer has fact-checked Andy Beshear and Daniel Cameron's debate claims about income tax, abortion, and workforce participation. In this Campaign 2023 fact-check, he looks at the response to COVID.
Governor Beshear has been criticized most over policies about schools, churches, and jails. We'll look at those specifically.
All of our initial steps, and Bill, the question was about early on, were steps that were suggested by the Trump administration.
We do know state leaders were getting guidance from federal leaders, but in the interest of clarity here, there was also tension between President Trump himself and his administration's health officials. As for schools, on March 12th, Governor Beshear recommended schools stop in-person instruction for at least 2 weeks starting March 16th. That's the day President Trump publicly recommended that all Americans, including the young and healthy, work to engage in schooling from home when possible. Now, the main differences came not with closing, but with reopening. We go more in depth on that online. As for churches, Kentucky's ban on all mass gatherings, including faith-based events, came 3 days after President Trump recommended avoiding gathering in groups of more than 10 people. But that did not specifically mention houses of worship.
This governor let out of jail 2,000 criminals, and until a couple of days ago I was saying only a third of them had recommitted felony offenses. Well, it turns out I was wrong. Over 50% of them have recommitted felony offenses.
Early in the pandemic, Governor Beshear ordered the release of 1,700 inmates deemed medically vulnerable or with less than 6 months on their sentence, serving time for nonviolent, non-sexual offenses. A state report 1 year later found that 47% faced at least one new criminal charge, with 32% charged with a felony. But that data reflected charges, not convictions. And the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet said the majority of those new charges came more than 6 months after those inmates were released. That means by then, many would have been out of prison anyway.
Garrett, thank you. Our series of Campaign 2023 fact checks continues Tuesday with a look at campaign claims on health care. And if you have missed any of them or would like to watch the full Kentucky debate, just open up the WKYT News app.